Hey everybody, happy Thursday night. It is Team Inspire, Team Zoom. And as I was working on a topic, I actually messaged another promoter and I was like, different topics for Zooms and things like that. And one of the things that always goes back to are the stories. And so I titled this Tale as Old as Time because I want you to think back to when you were a child and your parents told you a story. Maybe they read stories to you, um, or you just wanted them to make up a story and tell you a story. Storytelling goes way, 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 way back. And there were people in villages that was what they did. They were storytellers. So think back to like your favorite stories when you were a little kid. Was it something from a book? Was it something that your parents or someone that was telling you the story simply made up? No matter what it was, there was a component of that story that you absolutely loved. There may have been parts of it that made you laugh, but no matter what, there was some way that you related to the story. Okay. And so when you're a young child and you're going through junior high and high school and things like that, and you're reading, one of the things that reading does is it paints pictures in our mind. Okay. Now not everybody can paint the pictures in their mind. That's a whole nother story. That's another Zoom. that's for something else of teaching related. But anyway, so you paint pictures in your mind whenever you are listening to a story, and you relate to them in a lot of different ways. Think about the movies that you watched when you were in high school. Okay, so I grew up in the era of all the John Hughes movies, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, all of those coming of age movies and so forth. And the reason that those movies worked right at that time frame is because there were so many people in my high school and so many people across the country that were going through some of these same similar things. We could all relate. About the Breakfast Club. There was a character in there that every single person could relate to, and you still can, even back to this day. So it's all about what can you relate to within a story. Sometimes there's the pain points within a story. You felt like this, and you're reading. You may feel like a certain way, and you're listening to someone's story or hearing a story, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're exactly the same thing as me. So people are always searching for something or someone that they can relate to. Everybody is. And you would be, I don't want to say almost surprised, but you would be amazed at how many people are always searching for something or someone that they can absolutely relate to. That's why you have all these influencers on TikTok. That's why you have Mama Tot and some of these other ladies on TikTok. I love Carrie Clark. People can relate to them. And some of the folks that are on Instagram Reels, folks relate to. So I want you to think about what your life was like before Thrive. Okay. When you saw maybe someone's post, or you saw someone talking and telling about what all they'd gotten done in a given day. Maybe it was the energy that drew you in, that kind of a thing. When Thrive came into my world, I didn't have any energy, and y'all have heard my story. And I bet if I ask y'all right now, almost every single one of you could tell you and tell somebody else what I was doing when I was sitting on the couch those 3 weeks in the summertime. What was I watching on TV? You've heard my story enough that I think every single person on this team could just about answer that. And if you can't, then that means you haven't heard my story. Or who knows? But there is, I want you to think back about your life before Thrive. Okay. How'd you feel? Were you looking for the business opportunity? The majority of the people weren't looking for the business opportunity. They were looking to feel better. Okay, hang on. I got to tell this person I'll call them right back. Hang on. Okay. I knew I didn't feel well. I knew I didn't feel good. I knew I needed hope to get up off the couch. I needed energy, but I couldn't pinpoint everything it was that I needed. I needed better sleep. Now I knew that. I knew I needed better sleep. So when Thrive came into my life, I had no idea that it was going to fix all of those things. No idea whatsoever. Tammy knew me as the busy mama running up and down Main Street, Broadway in Lebanon, driving my girls back and forth to different events, that kind of thing. That's what the mama was that she knew me as. She didn't know me as the tired mama. And I hadn't seen anything going on in her Facebook world, but she had personally messaged me. Now, Courtney's one of the ones that was looking for the business opportunity. She's probably one of the only ones that I've heard of that jumped in for the business opportunity. Most people are looking for something that has to do with their health and their wellness, and Courtney was as well, but the business opportunity. Some people are looking for that energy, they're tired, they've got body discomforts, they've got aches and things like that. And so I want you to think about your story. Who is your story going to relate to? When was the last time you told your story? Have you ever thought about the different ways that you can tell a story? Okay. And this was something I actually taught, in my classroom. There were actually 3 ways of getting through a story. Someone can tell you a story, you can read a story. There's theater, there's pictures, there's all kinds of things like that. So there's more than 3. But anyway, so the components of your story are really simple. And I think a lot of times people complicate it. Okay, so I'm going to break it down for you. Super small, super simple. And we're going to start seeing stories. Okay, so the components of your story, the first part is going to be what it was like before Thrive. How did you feel? Okay, were you beating the alarm clock in the morning and counting down the hours until you could go to bed? Were you burning the midnight oil studying during college? Because we've got Thrivers of all ages. Think about what your life was like before Thrive. When you finally agreed or said yes to Thrive and you began your Thrive, what was day 3 like? Okay. What was day 5? Day 10? And it may be that you are one of those that it took you longer than 10 days to feel your Thrive. Those people who are day 1 and day 2 Thrivers, rock on, right? We know not everybody's a day 1 or a day 2 Thriver. So your components of your story, what was your life like before Thrive? How did you feel when you finally said yes and you ordered your product? Day 3, day 5, day 10 on your product. How did you start feeling after 14 days? What did you notice? What did Thrive help with? How long have you been thriving? And what do you notice even now to this day? Y'all, those are the components of your story. Super simple, quick and easy. All right. And you may be thinking, okay, Sandra, I haven't shared my story in forever. Nobody's ever asked me to share my story. Guess what? If you want to share your story, you can get out there and you can do it. And you don't even have to have somebody ask you to share your story. We're always looking for people at our Thrive Locals here in Lebanon and whenever we do them in Texas to share your stories. So if you're in any of those places, then you know what? Or if you're in Houston, because there's some people on this team that are in Houston, you know what? Let's do an event. And even though I can't get there right now, put my face on with a video and I can share my story. So here's some ways that you can share your stories through social media. Number 1, in your stories on Instagram and into Facebook, share a picture of your capsules or your mix every single morning or both. Okay. I do my capsules every single morning without fail. And probably 9 times out of 10, my Thrive link is in there and it's embedded with a great, with something fun like energy here or something like that. Okay. You can go live in your stories and you can just talk while you're making your mix. And there are some people on the team who have just gotten so good at doing that. And it's how you also get more comfortable with going live yourself, is doing it in your stories. And then, are you brave and you're ready to have someone go live with you, maybe on Facebook? Super easy ways to do that. I can give you the tips and the clues on how to do that. You can go live with someone over in Instagram as well. That's a little higher tech. Not bad, not bad. But when was the last time that you shared your story? Sharing your story renews that excitement about how you feel about your Thrive. Whether you're sharing it with someone on social media, whether you're sharing it at a Thrive event, or you're sharing it with someone, sharing your story is what continues to fuel your fire. And not only sharing your own story, but hearing other people's stories. We have our local, our Thrive local next Thursday night here in Lebanon. And there's a girl who's going to be sharing her story. And she is so excited to share her story. She's not shared it in a couple of years. And she said, I cannot wait to share my story. My story has changed so much. I cannot wait. I have never heard Trisha's story. Now, my niece is going to be really surprised because guess what? She's going to be sharing her story too. And y'all, my story has changed just in the last 2 months. I've been thriving for 7.5 years. Never thought my Thrive story would change like that. And it has changed. So don't be afraid. Stories are tales as old as time. And they are stories that are continuing to be written and written for more people and more people and more people. When was the last time you shared your story? Let's go live.